Welcome back. So today I'm going to be providing a little bit of commentary for a new part of the channel that I'd like to do called race reviews. So here we're at round one at Cherryville at Flying W Ranch. Huge thanks to the owners of Flying W Ranch for hosting such an amazing race. As we just saw, we just took off the start. Did not get the greatest start in the world, but I also wasn't going for the best start in the world. There's 25 racers lined up for C class. I definitely ended up near the end of the back of the pack of that group. That week, the area got about 7 inches of rain. We showed up a little bit late. I was not able to get a practice lap in, and I really sort of figured it'd be a whole lot wetter and muddier than it actually was. But there at that first initial takeoff, we did truly get to see a good bit of that mud. Also, going into this, the week before had the flu, so still had a good bit of the aches and pains and headaches going into this race, and my ultimate goal was to just be able to finish the race somewhere around 19th or 20th, just so I could get 1 or 2 points. That way I could have this hopefully be my lowest ranking race and hopefully end up being ranked top 10 by the end of this season. What we see here now, I accidentally give this guy a little boot to his rear tire. Hopefully that helped him a little bit. Give him a little bit more momentum to get up that hill. This was a struggle getting up this first little hill, but I jumped in front. That guy just had the best booby trap I've ever seen in the woods. And at this point, I state I love my new back tire. I just put on a IRC VE33, and it was hooking up perfectly this entire race. I was really impressed with it. Jumping to the next major obstacle in this race. Big lineup bottleneck going on here. Was able to skirt around and do a good bit of trailblazing, using the bike as a bulldozer here. You see, you just gotta sometimes take down the little things. This is by far one of the sketchiest parts of the race. I feel like I almost took this kid out. I immediately, once I hit that log, the front slid to the left, and I was really scared for the kid's ankles, but ended up keeping control. This place had lots of little log hops all around. Going up another little slimy hill, I was able to keep momentum and just crawled my way up it. This one was actually pretty neat with lots of little rocks and stuff, but the tire hooked up nice to it and was just able to get up it. Biggest issue I was finding with myself throughout this race, immediately once we started going, just the aches in the arms and the legs from being sick were just there from the get-go. It wasn't arm pump, I wouldn't say, but just overall aches. And so my form was just outright terrible this entire day. For whatever reason, could not bring myself to stand up, which really caused me to slow down and not be able to control the bike as well as I should have. So definitely continuing to work on ensuring that I'm always standing. The creek sections throughout all this were really neat and fun, and lots of different line choices. Also, for the start of the race, having the full-time job and all that I need to show up to the next day, I've really kind of decided that if my goal is to get top 10 in C class and to be going a little bit faster, should definitely be wearing a good bit more armor. So I ended up getting Alpine Stars A10 V2 chest protector. So running this race for the first time ended up being awesome, and ultimately just forgetting about it. So highly recommend that product. Here we just see some more really tight trail sections, trying to bob and weave my way through it with some pace. impressing myself by the lack of trees I'm running into at this point.
They got so many tight freaking spots out here. That's insane.
More little log hops and some tight wood sections. And for whatever reason, that little tree right there really sketched me out with it being across the trail like that. Felt like my front tire was just going to slide out at any point.
Ah, Eli, look at it. Oh,
Tree right there.
smack that
So,
tree.
I was able to keep it together. Another nice little hill climb right here. Slowed down there to ensure that everybody got up at first so I didn't go running into a problem. And not able to choose a good line. More little logs. Lots of logs. Really neat creek sections. Learned that from Patty Workman at Workman Racing. Always gotta say thank you to anybody that lets you pass.
Oh, man.
One of my biggest struggles I discovered, I'm definitely trying to work on, is just going fast on those open little muddy fields. I think I just lack confidence with it and feel like I'm going to drop the bike. Definitely something I feel like I just need to practice at faster at it. So I lose a lot of time on any of these major muddy sections. I believe what happened here is I heard the person behind me revving ended up looking back, was really just kind of focusing on them and how I'm going to move over. Due to that, put the front tire in the wrong place and the bike ended up washing out. So that was just a goofy little mistake that totally could have been prevented. This was me just not thinking at all. I saw the person there in front of me who definitely most likely fell. Getting over that log, and then I also decided to hit it from the side and fall as well. Not my smartest decision I've ever made.
That was a dumb mistake.
Some more tight wood sections. Good bit of ruts all throughout it. I still certainly struggle at the ruts. I've found going to a local motocross track definitely does help with that, build up confidence in the ruts and be able to go faster through them. I'm always really leery of going with any sort of speed through these creek sections, because I just find that rock at the bottom can kind of be really slippery at some points, and you don't want to end up taking a bath in the creek. Felt bad here. This little bobble right here, I think, forced the next person to try going over the log, which did not work out. So more just muddy, sloppy areas where I felt like I should be going faster. Definitely need to get better at going faster in these muddy areas. I think I just ultimately need to be looser on the bike in those sections. Definitely should have veered to the right. Lost a lot of time going here to the left. Not really the best line choice at all. Up here was by far one of the coolest, more technical hills. It was really, really muddy and rutted out with lots of big rocks and roots everywhere. I was able to get up it just fine his first lap. I think on the second lap, camera died by then, but I'm pretty sure I stalled getting up that hill. I was able to get up it. Now this was the slickest part of the whole property somehow. Ended up getting caught behind this guy eating his roost for a minute, so I decided to stop. And then for whatever reason, the patience I showed worked out, and I managed to slip on by both of them. So that was just pure luck at that point. Another little neat technical spot that I really enjoyed.
I remember that.
This was by far one of my favorite races I've ever done. I kind of just feel like the wet mud kind of just added another layer of enjoyment and kind of difficulty to this race. It was still a good bit of fun. Again, I just got to work on figuring out how to carry more speed through these sections. I felt like I did an alright job here, just due to my lack of comfort in the mud at carrying a good bit of speed, but I just know I still certainly lost a good bit of time here. I saw those double arrows there, so I made sure to go between them.
Gotta get through the double arrows.
Just a goofy little mistake happens here, and then I have the hardest time getting it corrected. I think at this point it was purely just me getting tired. So.
That was really bad. No reason to do all that.
Decided I wasn't brave enough to hop over the log. Honestly, that was probably the best choice I've made that day. Another one of my favorite climbs. Being directed to go off this steep little ledge right here. Overshot it, so I backed up. Then I managed to go too slow and get caught on this root, so I have to work the bike over it. And then I just had to fully commit to launching myself up this little hill. The little rattle that you hear occasionally in this video, that is my right bark buster coming loose. By the end of it, where it mounts up near the center of the handlebar, the top bolt ended up backing out all the way, and I just came in with the bark buster flopping beneath my handlebars. Coming through at the end, it was really neat seeing all the spectators watching as we came through. So this is the end of lap 1. My goal was to get 3 laps, but just seeing how I was riding in the lack of standing in good form, I was only going to get 2 laps. At this point, I was in 20th place. That really kind of lit a fire under myself, because the moment I got 21st place, I'd be getting 0 points for the day. So I was bound and determined to stay in either 20th place or get up to 19th. So I was really trying to push it this lap to ensure that I at least got a couple points in this race. Almost dropped it there. I really like my front tire. I feel like it hooks up good about everywhere, but there are just times where it likes to wash out like that. If you know how to solve that, or if you have an idea of what's going on, feel free to leave that in the comments, because that is a slight problem for me. I can't exactly remember the exact name of the tire, but I know it's a Bridgestone. And if you also have any tips for going faster through those mud flats like that in the fields, I'd greatly appreciate that. Make a little pass right here. Then, this is where my whole race changes. And things get real stressful. I definitely just focused on that tree and headed right towards that tree. Instead of, staying on the trail. I then dropped the bike. The handlebars brush my lens off of my camera. So then I'm trying to figure out how to put the lens back on the camera. Struggling. And then I make probably one of the worst decisions, and I decide to drag the bike down instead of just flipping it back over onto its other side and then starting the bike and just working my way up the hill and walking it up the hill. I end up wasting about 6 minutes down in this little draw. So, yeah, it was really aggravating and lost a lot of time. I was pretty darn sure at this point that I was not going to be getting any points for the day. Giving it some kicks. I remember it being really awkward right here in this section because I'm still not completely at the bottom of the ravine. So, just having to lean way too far over on the left to get my feet on the ground. So I believe here soon I end up pushing that bike forward further into the ravine. Yep, that way I'm not leaning so hard on the left. Then my new pal showed up and decided to struggle in this ravine with me. So was able to provide me some moral support.
Well,
He ended up being another C-class rider.
Dirty dog.
At this point, I was just struggling. I was thinking my race was about over and my bike was flooded.
Yeah, what are you? Okay, I better start my bike so I can get back in front of you. Now what in the world did you stop for?
It's times like these where I wish I had an electric start. Typically, I like to kickstart, and it doesn't give me any fits on this YZ250. Except for moments like these when I'm tired, my body aches, and the bike's flooded.
Come on.
Getting mad at the bike, gave it one final good kick and got started. At this point, I was really unsure of my plan. Ended up getting a really bad idea of just trying to go straight up the hill instead of running up the side of it. Did an ultra bad idea and just dug a hole for myself to get stuck in. At this point, I was thinking this is where I'm going to be spending the rest of my race at.
It appears we're in the same boat of miserableness. I don't even know what my plan is.
again, I'm a huge supporter of the IRC VE33 after this race. So I don't think my old tire would have gotten me up that hill like that. More silly mistakes, simply due to being tired.
That was bad.
Also riding slow, due to being tired. Another go at this hill for the second lap. It's a little bit more chewed up now and a little bit more technical, but still got it easily done. Doing a little bit of trailblazing, using the bike as a bulldozer as usual. I feel like that needs to be its nickname, is the dozer. But always giving those bark busters a workout. Running straight into trees, being as smooth as I can be. Bike problems are never fun. Getting tired of going over logs at this point. My body was really hurting.
That's funny. I almost died.
More struggling in the mud. One day I'll be quick in that. And hopefully you guys are able to see that progress occur. Almost fall again.
Well, that's got the legs cramping. Oh, why would I do that? Oh wait, yeah, let's cheat. Yeah, go over.
The bike had the greatest idea ever. It knew I was going to fall again going over that log, so it just forced me to stall so I could go around it. So, smartest bike I've ever rode on.
I almost died right there.
So in the end, I ended up placing 19th out of 25 in C class. Got myself my 2 points. Going forward, for sure, my goal is that I do not come to one of these races again sick. That definitely put a damper on my performance, I feel like. But yeah, the goal has been, and we have been doing, where we've been practicing every single weekend before the next race, which I believe is on May 3rd. And with this channel, my goal is I'll be posting every Friday in the evening. And then with these races, I'll post the uncut footage right after the race is the goal. And then a week or two later, get the actual race review up with a bit more of the highlights of me talking through the race. Thank you for watching. I would greatly appreciate it if you could leave a like, as well as if you could subscribe. And if you have any sort of feedback or you have some tips that you think might be able to help my game at this racing stuff, I would greatly appreciate it if you could leave a comment. So I appreciate every view I get on these. I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I'll keep on working on getting some more content posted.